Hello everyone, welcome to the Wednesday trade recap and forecast. So we're starting with our first currency pair on the list, which is the euro and the US dollar. Had a trade running from this point. If you look at my recap from the last Wednesday, I did say that I was in this buy setup. So basically this was a liquidity sweep. What I liked about it was we had a nice flat range. That was the first confluence. We took out the major low. That was the second confluence. And we had a shift in momentum here and here. So when you see buying pressure here and so here, and let's copy this one to here, most likely people are going to put their stop losses below this low right here. Okay. So that was very, very interesting, and an added confluence. So we had three major confluences. Price went into the lower liquidity, as you can see right here. Printed a huge wick, rejected, nice bullish candle. That's where I entered, and this did end up hitting my take profit. For the liquidity sweep, we use a fixed stop loss and a fixed take profit, and I aim for a 3-to-1 risk to reward, and this was a 3R winner, or a plus 1.5% winner in terms of percentage, because for the liquidity sweep entries, I'm still kind of testing them, still implementing them. So basically I started with 0.25% risk, and I'm gradually bumping it up to the full 1%, currently at 0.5% per every single trade. So this was a 3R winner, or plus 1.5% on my accounts, on all of the accounts. So personal, prop firms, Darwinex, and yeah. That was a nice trade, very nice liquidity sweep. As you can see, it reached all the way to the top of the range and even more, which was really good to see. It is a range bound entry after all. So basically we're looking at the extremes of the range, and then we're looking to see how the price reacts in those extremes. Okay, we want to see price bounce away from the extremes and go all the way to the other liquidity area, or possibly even above it as well. Next, price dropped down. We had sort of a downtrend right here. We had a downtrend. Okay, it was a downtrend, kind of descending, but still technically a downtrend with all the legs going down and the pullbacks, as you can see. Okay, and then what happened? Price kind of started to range around right here, broke this major low, rejected, and then went up with some massive news. Okay, so this was clearly a news candle. How do I know? Well, it has a huge body, and it's absolutely much bigger than all of the other candles, right? I don't even have to look at the Forex Factory news calendar, because this visually just looks like a news candle. Now this is looking very, very good, very high probability. I like this momentum, and this pair is definitely on my watch list. Okay, I like the impulse, and I'm definitely looking for a nice quick flag setup like this, or I'm looking for a break of the high and then a retest of the high, or the break and retest entry. Okay, so it's a continuation, break and retest, whatever you want to call it. Very simple stuff. You just wait for a small pullback, break of the high, and then a retest of the major high level. So very, very interested in buy setups. This whole thing looks a little bit like a descending channel. After a descending channel, I expect the price to reverse in the opposite direction. And then we had the confirmation, we have the signature, which is this major momentum. So it's looking very nice. And as you can see, it is definitely on my watch list. Next one on the list is going to be the euro and the Japanese yen. From last Wednesday, nothing much was happening. Yeah, we were very corrective, very range bound. At this point, we were descending a little bit, but nothing came out of it. Okay, nothing really came out of this price action. Instead, price just kind of continued ranging around. So for me, being more patient, this is very corrective price action. As far as I can tell, according to my analysis, all of the JPY pairs are currently very range bound and very corrective, while the dollar pairs are showing some nice momentum. So leaving this pair alone, I want to see a large push up, or I want to see a large impulse down like this. That is the goal for the euro and the Japanese yen. Next one is gonna be the Aussie and US dollar. And if you do remember on the last recap, I did mention I was in 2 trades. First one was on the Euro US dollar liquidity sweep. Second one was the Aussie US dollar liquidity sweep. And both were winners. This one was another 3R winner, or plus 1.5% on all of my accounts. Let's break down the trade. This was a major level. This right here. Major low takeout, 1, 2, 3, multi-tap as well. So very, very significant level for me personally. We had the large range, or not the large range, but kind of a clearly defined range, which was looking very nice. We had a large bullish candle here. That means that there were some buyers and they most likely placed their stop losses below this low. Okay. And then price went into the lower liquidity area, rejected. We got a nice bullish candle where I executed with a fixed stop loss, fixed take profit, and it was a nice 3R winner. So very high probability, absolute no-brainer, and definitely a good setup. As you can see, it reached all the way to the top of the range and even more. Okay. And it was quick. It hit the take profit somewhere around, I think, here. Right, this is where I had the take profit, and it all happened during the night, so it was a pretty quick trade. The euro and the US dollar took a bit longer to actually hit the take profit. It almost hit it with this candle. It was like 2 or 3 pips away, and then this news candle. This is definitely news candle. Huge wick, body is big as well. The news candle finally hit the take profit in the end, so had to wait some time for the euro and the US dollar to actually hit the take profit. Had another liquidity sweep trade right here. Okay, and I don't want to reveal the exact stop loss, take profit levels, risk to rewards. All of that is reserved for Zentum traders. But I'm gonna give you a brief overview of all of the trades I took. So basically here I saw a nice range right here. Liquidity area above it. Multi-tap, kind of 1, 2 major highs, okay. Range is nice. Range is nice and tight. That's what I liked as well. And then basically what I also like, well, I saw some selling pressure here, some selling pressure here. So maybe that made the liquidity area above even stronger. Price went into it. The initial entry happened during the night. It wasn't that big of a break into liquidity. So I'm not sure if I would have taken the initial entry, but then in the morning, a new entry appeared and I entered right here on this candle. I entered a bit later because I missed the whole setup. So I entered at this price basically, but I entered somewhere in these candles, okay. So that was about it for this one. It took me out for a loss, okay. Let me just quickly put the replay tool here. Yeah, so basically this was the entry candle that sold this setup for me. Nice break into liquidity, nice big red candle rejecting that liquidity. So yeah, that definitely fit the plan. And then got taken out with this news candle. And yes, this is absolutely a news candle. Now, it was supposed to be a 1R loss or like a 0.5% loss, but the spreads expanded drastically and I got slipped for much more. IC markets, I got slipped for, I think, 2.5R or 1.2%, maybe even more. And on my prop accounts, FTMO got slipped by maybe even 3R, something very big. Alpha Capital was alright, so I don't know how. Usually Alpha Capital has very poor spreads, much worse than FTMO, but in this case I got slipped more on FTMO than I did on Alpha Capital. DarwinX got slipped as well. I think it got slipped by 3R, or maybe even more. It was something crazy. So unlucky day in the markets. It was supposed to be a small loss, but again, it is what it is. The news candle happened. It's a big news candle, big movement. The spreads expanded drastically. So yeah, it can happen. It's just one of those days. We had a trade a couple of weeks back where the news candle actually went into my direction and I got a nice winning setup. So what could have happened here, this could have dropped heavily down and then yeah, it would have been worth it. That's kind of what happened a few weeks ago. Market just dropped. Right after the news, it just dropped. So that was a bit tough today, taking that bigger loss than expected. But it's part of the game. It is what happens. Then price went up. Okay, and now it's showing a nice impulse up. This is definitely on my watch list. I like this momentum going to the upside, and I'm looking for buy entries. Either a nice, quick, small, tight flag formation, or a nice pullback, break of the high, and a retest of the high. So that is the game plan on the Aussie and US dollar. Aussie and the Japanese yen. Okay. Pretty flat, very corrective. It just broke the high according to the high and low methodology that we use. Just broke the high, retraced, so it's looking very corrective, very range bound. If you bump it up to the 4 hour or maybe even the daily, it's gonna be very, very corrective. Yeah, you can see it. Although I only look at the 1 hour chart, it's sometimes fun to go to the 4 hour and the daily just to check things out. So I am being more patient. I am just waiting for momentum, large push up or large push down. This pair is definitely not going to be on my watch list. It's looking very, very flat and bad for us trend traders. And I'm only trading the liquidity sweep or the range bound entry on the Euro US dollar and on the Aussie US dollar. Next one is going to be the pound. Pound Wednesday was here. It was pretty flat. Okay, this whole price action was really extremely flat. Then this was pretty corrective as well. It showed absolutely no potential for any entries. Now we're printing a large impulse up, but what I'm concerned about is it's only a single candle. It didn't continue. Next candle retraced, printed double wicks, retraced, showed some selling pressure. So I'm not sure about this setup. Would they take a flag? Well, maybe. If we get a really nice, clean, wide range like this, I would consider it. Would they take a break and retest? Maybe if it's a really big break, okay? I really do not like a single candle going up and then double wicks and then a shift in momentum here. It's kind of showing a major warning sign to me. So let's see what will happen. But I can assure you that I will be very, very patient here, and I will be I'm not really that keen on taking a buy setup just now. Best scenario for me would be that this breaks higher, okay, like this, shows me some more really strong momentum, and then a nice flag or a nice break and retest. That would be a good scenario for me personally. I am going to put it on the watch list because, again, we saw momentum and the momentum may continue. So I want to be ready, I want to be prepared, and I want to keep monitoring the charts. Next one is going to be the New Zealand and the Japanese yen, which is same as the Aussie Japanese yen. Really corrective, really flat, really range bound. Just broke this high, see, according to our high and low methodology, just broke it, printed a large wick, retraced. So that's a very, very bad warning sign. What I'm looking for is just a large push up like this, or a large impulse down like this, being a lot more patient. And yeah, that's about it for NJ. Definitely not on the watch list, okay? It's looking very, very corrective. So my focus for this week is gonna be on the dollar pairs, EU, AU, GU. JPY pairs are looking very corrective and very range bound. I took plus 6R on the winners on EU and AU, and then took a minus 1R loss, which ended up being much bigger. Because of slippage, because of news. So in total, I think I'm up just a little bit because that loss was so big on some accounts. I think I'm up in the past week at around maybe 1 hour, something like that. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to check my MetaTrader, but it all depends on which account. And it happens. So I was in nice profit, and then it all kind of came crumbling down with the big loss I took with the slippage. So yeah. That can happen in the markets. I do like that I followed my plan. I took every single setup that fits my trading plan. So that is always the most important thing. Did I follow my plan? And yes, I did. So that means I did my job correctly. Even though the total profit did not end up that big, I still follow the plan. And this news scandal, what happened with the news scandal, it sometimes may go in our favor. As I said a week ago, or not a week ago, a couple of weeks back, what happened is we had a flag setup. Okay, just imagine that there was a flag setup here just before news. We had a nice flag setup. I took it, and then this happened. Whoop. This happened. Okay, so it went in our favor. You never know where it's gonna go, but it's up to you if you want to keep holding trades through news events or you want to close them right before. I personally hold them through most news events. The one news event where I'm really careful is, of course, NFP Fridays. I usually close half of my position right before NFP if the current price is very close to my entry price. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one.